The following is a rebroadcast of Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Please join Dick Lutzk and Mike Morin on Sunday, October 26th for a brand new season of Candlepin Stars and Strikes, coming to you from Leda Lanes in Nashua.
Welcome to the 7th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. He got it. Ready for a fair.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good. Looks good. That's good to go. It's a Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi once again, everybody, and welcome to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire. And this is it, the finals, the championship match of our 1995 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We're so glad you could join us. Doug Brown here along with Dan Murphy, and we are left with our top two seeds. Only the second time in the 7-year history of the tournament that's happened.
But they deserve it. They bowl well enough to get here, and it's like two generations here. As I mentioned at the close of last week, Paul's my generation, and Chris is somewhere in between. Not yours, but
me
you know,
and birth, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there.
It's an interesting matchup.
Well, let's meet our two bowlers and talk about our championship match here today. First of all, our number 2 seed, coming off a win last week in the semifinals from Haverhill, Massachusetts, Chris Sargent.
Okay, Chris averaging 131, has a high triple of 530. His roll-off or his qualifying score when he won his ladder championship was 421.
And last week, to beat Gary Carrington, he rolled a 396, including a very critical double strike in the third game that helped him open up a bit of a lead and cruise on to the win. And he will face our number 1 seed. The record is really astounding. We talk about it every year, but once again, our number 1 seed from Hopedale, Massachusetts, Paul Berger.
And he shows up he's like you said, a perennial. He shows up every year for this. A high single of 220, has a high triple of 500. His qualifying score, 454.
I don't know what's more amazing, the fact that Paul Berger has qualified for this tournament 7 years in a row, or the fact that this is the 4th time that he has come in as the number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's amazing. He just he rises to the occasion, and he got beat earlier in a championship match, and he turned around, got the next roll-off, and as you see, won big.
All right, we're going to have a lot of money on the line here today. Let's just review it briefly. $600 to the runner-up, $1,500 to the winner today. We also have bonus money on hand, of course. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan providing bonus money for consecutive marks for both bowlers. And also we have our bonus ball contest for $50 and a couple of brand new sets of bowling balls. That'll be at the end of the hour. But we have 3 games of Candlepin bowling to get to before that to decide it all. The season championship here on Stars and Strikes. We'll be back, Paul Berger and Chris Sargent, to get this match going right after these messages. Don't go away. Well, we started this whole thing 4 weeks ago. Our number 6 seed, John Plant, threw a 392 to knock off Jack Quinn. John Plant had even bigger things in store the following week as he beat our number 4 seed, Tom Morgan, in a terrific match. Tom Morgan with a 191 middle game, but John Plant came from 35 pins down to beat him with a 439. John could not make it 3 in a row, though. He lost to Gary Carrington, our number 3 seed, 2 weeks ago. Gary rolling a big 456, including a triple strike near the end and a 170 game. But then last week, Gary Carrington came up short against Chris Sargent, our number 2 seed. Chris with the 396, and he is ready to get this championship match started against number 1 seed Paul Berger. For the spare? No. And a $10 for Chris. Nine for Chris, 19 opening pair. Now here once again, Paul Berger. Qualifying score, 454 that he rolled on Christmas Day. We've talked a lot about that match. One of the best matches ever here on the Winds of New England. Paul threw a 454, but he needed almost all of them because Glenn Shattuck, his opponent, threw a 439. That match was back on Christmas Day. Might have seen it a couple of weeks ago. We reran it. And I dare say we'll probably rerun it again in the summer. Missed it.
And Paul opens with a 10.
But Paul has been in the Tournament of Champions all 7 years. As we mentioned at the top, this is the 4th year that he's been the #1 seed. Of course, Paul would be the first one to mention that he's only won the Tournament of Champions once. But pretty tough competition. Always in this event.
Spare up.
The year that Paul won it was 1990. He beat Al Cloutier. This is the 3rd time in the last 4 years he's been in the finals. He lost in the finals in '92 to Mike Morgan and in '93 to Peter Flynn. Chris Sargent has the 5, 7, and 10. With some wood. Chris's fans are directing the wood themselves, and it seems to work.
I think he's got to catch a little bit of that right wood and the 5-pin. Wood to the left, he has a chance to take the... No, he's going to try to split the...
Got it!
Oh, what do I know? Let's just watch.
I'll tell you what, let's watch it again.
But I would have made it my way, too. In fact, I would have went quicker with my... Nice shot by Chris.
Something we talked about last week, Dan. That ball was a little heavy on the head pin, but he was able to crash through. And
the name of the game is to hit the head pin with that first ball. If you're going heavy, you just got to stay with it because eventually they start breaking up. He pushed that ball a little bit, and he missed it to the left.
Lost his balance, too, a little bit right at the line. And the 10.
Matches like this, if you have the opportunity, you don't want to miss any of them. And then maybe get some of those splits that you don't believe you're going to get. And that's when you have to throw the big score. But you can't miss the ones you're expected to get. 5 on the fill for Paul Berger.
Eight for Paul. The interesting thing about Paul's record here in the Tournament of Champions is he's been here every year, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. He's won it only one time, but he's rolled only one match each year. And there's a big strike. And Paul always mentions to me every time we see him here that he wishes he had just won more matches during the Tournament of Champions, but
same thing now.
got to get here first, and he's the only one that has come close to doing what he has done.
Ready when it goes. Now, come on. Make it.
Neither of these bowlers waste any time up there either.
Big one now, big one.
One here now.
Again, full, but he carries it for a strike. Watch how full this ball is when it goes in on the head pin.
Just tripping the 4. Paul Berger now working on his strike in the 4th, looking for 2. Oh, got 3. 1, 5, and 8. Not quite what I meant.
Oh, look out. 7 on the strike. Paul takes the lead. And the 9.
59, 4-pin advantage.
So make it 7 years in a row for Paul Berger. Nobody else has been in the Tournament of Champions more than 3 times. We've had several guys now who've made it 3 times, but Paul is the only one up there in the annual category. For the spare? No.
Chance for Chris to take the lead. Working on the strike.
Chris working on a strike.
Seen a double in a long time. Let's go.
The crowd will tell you.
Double!
Looked pretty good when it started.
5, 8, and 10. No wood. Going to try to split the 5 and the 8.
All right, stick. One of them.
82 through 7.
Right here.
Chris last week had 14 marks, including 5 strikes. Had the big double strike in the 3rd game that helped give him the lead for good. Kicks out the 5-pin. The 7 will stay. The spare? No, that'll be a 9 box. That is a 9 box. And 2 opens for Paul Berger to work on. Not quite for Paul. Paul Berger from Hopedale, Massachusetts, just outside of Worcester, south of Worcester, little town that always seems to have great high school basketball teams. Paul and his wife Paula have 2 sons, Damon and Alex. Paul is the director of corporate purchasing at Stratus Computer.
He'll shoot at the 5 and 9 and all kinds of playable wood out in front.
And the spare. That is mark number 3 for Paul Berger.
Come on, Chris, up. Ready now, ready now. Chris, now.
Have a couple here now. Good.
Right on now, right on.
2 marks up till now for Chris Sargent. Chance at a 3rd here. The 3, 6, 9, and 10. Oh, yeah. Spare in the 9th.
Well, plays the wood effectively there. Moves everything from left to right for those 4 pins, the 3, 6, 9, and 10.
And an 8 fill. Look out. Slipped by.
This has gone by the 2 and the 4 pins. Picked out just the 4 left at 2. He missed a 2-pinner there, and he missed a 7-pin. Could have had 3 spares.
It's a 117 opening game.
I'm sure he's not happy with that, but right now Paul Berger needs anything. 3 or more. 3 will give him the tie. Anything over 3.
Like 4.
Will give him the lead temporarily, but he's opposite a spare 8.
And it's 7.
So just 21 pins in that exchange. Spare 4, 7. Down by 10 now. finds himself, Paul Berger.
Gets one extra pin. Still has the 3, 4, and 7 with wood.
Yeah, it's a tough one because the problem is a 2-pin. If you want to go to the left, the wood's going to go by the 2. Almost have to go right. And he's going real low. Enough to catch the 2, but not the 7. Now he can gain 2 and count. The lead will either be 8 or 9.
It'll be 9. 108 for Paul Berger. 117 for Chris Sargent. 2 games to go to decide the season championship. The 1995 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions continues after these messages. Paul Berger starts game 2.
Four horsemen plus the 9. Oh, corner pins.
Even though this is our last traditional last show of the season in singles competition, don't forget that we have one more big show coming up for you on Saturday, May the 27th. This Saturday, our final new show of the year is the Men's All Events New Hampshire State Championship. That'll be Saturday at noon from the Londonderry Bowling Center. And we hope you'll join us for that one.
Four, 7, 8, and 10. And again, the 7-pin costs him the spare.
And it's 9. Been pretty quiet here so far in terms of pinfall for both bowlers, but the crowd is ready to explode. Should the bowlers explode? Chris Sargent with a strike. Kick out on the 4-pin. Now on lane 31. Going for the double, a little light this time. The 2, 5, and 8.
And always a problem with the sleeper in the back, the 8-pin. Got to be a little heavy on the 3. 2-pin, I should say. Yeah, and there's the opportunity. 2 full, you leave the 5. It's 9 fill on the strike.
And 10. Increasing the lead to 19.
Might have heard somebody in the crowd say that a way to grind. This means grind it out. You get the spare, you get the strike, you try to put a decent fill, don't leave anything standing.
Meanwhile, Paul Berger looked like he threw a pretty good ball there, but could not kick out the extra pin. So that makes this, needless to say, a much more difficult shot. The 4, 6, and 7. Paul has a chance today to become the first 2-time winner of the Tournament of Champions. We've had 6 different winners in the 6 years of the tournament so far.
Good 9-pin drop for Paul, leave the 4.
Spare for Paul. All 4 of his marks have been over on lane 31. He's yet to solve lane 32.
Big.
Chris Sargent with another bomb of a first ball. This one leaves the 10-pin, though. heard somebody say only 9. And the spare. Off the head pin that time. Take 6.
Four horsemen left. 1, 2, 4, and 7. Piece of wood right behind the head pin.
Nope.
6. All right, give me all 6. Come on now. Come on, let's sing. Get this thing.
It's an 8-box for Chris Sargent. We take a break. Just about to the halfway point, our championship match here on Stars and Strikes. We'll be back in a minute. Paul Berger working on a spare. Trailing in the match by 24, but that'll change with this fill, which is 5.
1, 2, 4, 9, 10. No wood left on the plate. Nope.
And the 10 for Paul, but he has yet to mark on lane 32.
And he can't kick out that extra pin. 4, 6, and 10. But wood in front. Possibilities here. Oh, he missed the other piece.
Nope.
Wanted to catch a little piece of that piece in front of the 4 pin. Didn't do it.
$10, 2 of them for Paul Berger. Openings for Chris Sargent. He leads by 19.
Come on, have a couple here now. Come on.
Ooh, got the extra pin, but maybe it wasn't a good thing. 8, 9, 10 with wood coming. Well, that piece of wood on the left will help, but I don't know if it's going to make it easy.
I think I might go out the 9 pin and snap that piece of wood off the 10 pin and come back, but
No problem.
That's what he tried.
But now watch Doug's way and watch this pin fly over where the 9 and 10 was. No.
Nope.
Oh, Doug, you would have missed it.
Just wasn't there. Yeah, well.
But you probably would have hit it differently and made it.
Well, here we are halfway through the match, and neither bowler's been able to put back-to-back marks together yet. That's why we haven't talked at all about bonus money.
We're all yours.
And missing the object pin, which is the head pin in that case, and so he'll be open. In fact, he'll lose 1 or 2 pins in count to Paul Berger. Make it 3 in those 3 boxes. So the lead now is 16 for Chris Sargent. Still waiting for one bowler to rise to the occasion here and take control of this match.
Well, Paul got a little bit more off the head pin that time.
3 and 5 left.
Cut the head pin thinner than he had been before, and there is his first mark on lane 32. Conversely, Chris Sargent only has 1 mark on lane 31.
Thin hit again, good mixing action. It's an 8-pin drop on the spare with 3 and 10 left, and a nice piece of wood behind the 3. To be a little concerned with one just to the left. gets by that, 2 in a row.
First time in the match for either bowler. So Paul Berger marks 2 up on the board, and
Now's the time.
Chris Sargent will try to answer now. I thought for a minute he was going to end up with 3 in the back row again.
I wanted that 10 pin to go down, but
That'll go, that'll go.
7 and 10 with wood.
Find a way now, Chris.
That'll go.
No, wow. The pin and the ball missed. And that's a 9.
Come on, right back here.
Here's the spare attempt.
a little bit farther down where the piece of wood meet probably was the place. Lead now just 7 pins, and he's opposite a spare by Paul Berger.
9 drop. Leaves the 6 pin. And the spare in the 8th. And Paul Berger now with a bonus money try, 2 marks in a row, working on a spare. You see what he has done here throughout the years. Oh, big drop again. Make it $25. Strike on spare. His second strike. Off target that time.
Yeah, not happy with himself for missing the head pin, but it's on a strike. He has another ball. 1, 2, 4, and 9. And again, he misses it.
And it's 10, 130 for Paul, 238 after 2. Reminder that even though we're getting ready to leave for our summer vacation here on Stars and Strikes, whereas Park Place Lanes will still be here during the summer.
Absolutely.
For your Candlepin bowling fun. And when you come in, be sure and stop into the Willow Tree North restaurant located right inside Park Place Lanes, the Willow Tree North. It's where the crew eats. Great food, great service, great prices. For 2 in a row, Chris Sargent makes it.
Good chance, first chance for bonus money.
And also a chance here to preserve his lead going into the 3rd and final game. Oh, big strike on spare, and he has bonus money. $25 in bonus money from Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
There was never a doubt about that strike, and that was a huge one in the 10th.
Looking for more? Not this time. Has a chance for more bonus money, though, if he were to make this shot. Not quite. It'll be an 8, Phil. A 136 for Chris Sargent. He does maintain his lead. In fact, he extends it a little bit. Chris Sargent by 15 with 1 game to go as we wrap it up on the Tournament of Champions with the 3rd and final game after these words. Here we go, final game. Here's your leader by 15. A big hop down there.
His adrenaline is flowing, and he's just charging the line. He's got to try to stay within himself. He's up on that one. He's back on the head pin, but that's all he got with that ball.
And it's 7.
Right back, come on. Come on now, right back here now. Come on now. Come on now.
Each bowler got on the board with bonus money there at the end of game 2, $25 apiece. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan. Come to Salem and save. Route 97, Main Street, Salem, New Hampshire. Thanks, as always, to Emmett Horgan and the gang at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan for their continued support here on Stars and Strikes, and especially for their bonus money program this season. I know the bowlers got a big kick out of it, and we hope you did too.
Well, 2 open frames for Paul Berger to work on, and just 14 pins, 15 pins as well.
Get it back next to him.
5-10. Let's see where the wood settles down.
See if he pinches the wood with the 5-pin. Tried the left wood.
Just a little too deep for him. No, got a pin here because it's opposite of 7.
Cuts the lead to 13. Single pin for the spare. Oh, and Paul slips by.
Both bowlers have missed some today, and of course you always remember the last one. You don't remember the first one. That's a 9.
9 box. Does pick up another pin and count though. The lead is down to 12 with 8 boxes to go.
Both bowlers squeezing the ball just a little tighter, I think, coming down the stretch.
Well, we have noticed over the years, we do tend to notice these things, that the scores in the championship match here have not been as high as scores in the rest of the tournament. And certainly we've had some big scores in this tournament. Both bowlers trying to put some offense together here today, but there is big money on the line, and of course the title is season champion. And a little extra pressure, and Chris misfires again.
So both bowlers feeling a little tight here.
That's a 10. Paul Berger on the head pin, can't break up the split though. How many splits have we seen today?
A lot. Well, talk to the bowlers, they'll probably say too many. But he's got a shot at making this with the wood in between. Oh, he missed the object pin.
Oh, the ball just missed. Coming back.
Missed the 3-pin.
You can tell just by Paul's expression and body language that he's a little bit frustrated. But he does gain 2 more in count. The lead is down to 10.
I'm sure he's happy about that, but he's also saying he gave me 4 open frames to work on and I wasn't able to put any marks up. He's got 1 more chance in the 4th.
Full on the head pin and another split. Nine box for Paul, and we will take a timeout. What is it, do you suppose? Next mark wins? We'll find out. We're going to settle this thing. 11 pins the lead right now for Chris Sargent with 6 boxes to go on Stars and Strikes. The crowd urging the bowlers on here. A very tight match with 6 boxes to go. not had a mark in this third game yet.
I think he'd probably like to have that wood stay away, because I don't think it would help. And have a clear shot at 6, 9, and 10. No, he's... Oh, yes. That ball broke a little bit sharper to the right. I thought he went by the 6-pin.
Here it is.
Just caught the 6. Spare in the 5th.
It's 9 marks for Chris. Went full on the headpin. Takes 7.
He's got an angle on a piece of wood. The ball's going to fly that way. This just depends on where it ends up. It may fly over the 7-pin or get something off the left or right side wall. Oh, he's too high. Oh, and he got it. Oh, my gosh. Whoa. He was right on a cap, and that ball stayed in play. And actually, the ball knocked the 7-pin down. Right here. Oh, didn't see it all, but that's what happened.
2 in a row for Chris Sargent.
Put a ring around that one. Oh.
Paul cannot answer.
Pins at the advantage now for Chris Sargent. Still got a long ways to go.
Oh, look at that.
There's a break.
There's the secret for Paul Berger. That might have been the worst first ball he's thrown today, and it turns into a strike. Watch where this ball hits. Square on the 3-pin for the strike.
Maybe that's the secret. Maybe they're hitting the head pin too much.
That's 8 marks for Paul. Chris Sargent with an opportunity for bonus money here. Working on a spare, and it's 5.
Well, the advantage goes back to Paul Berger. If he was going to get up and throw a legitimate strike, you know, sometimes when you steal one like that, you bury the next one and get the double. Oh, look at this! Oh, what a shot! That deserves 25.
Bonus money shot for Chris Sargent. We'll have another look.
No.
Wanted one more to go, but he'll settle for 8. And another mark. 4 in a row, $25 more for Chris Sargent. And he's making it very difficult for Paul Berger right now. Paul working on a strike.
Time to throw the double. No, not this time.
Paul missed the head pin on the other side. Try and see if it would work again. Oh, does he have the spare? No. It's a 10. So right now the lead is 22 with 3 boxes to go, and Paul would do himself a big favor here if he were to put up a mark.
Give himself a chance. He needs a mark here, and let's look at this. 5, 7, and 10. That 7-pin has cost him more marks today.
Paul, I'm sure, is thinking right about now that he would trade some of the many wins he's had here for a win, another win here in the Tournament of Champions. He gets a 10. Chris Sargent with an opportunity to force Paul into a double strike situation here. Chris has $50 in bonus money in this sequence, 4 marks in a row, 2 of them very, very difficult shots.
Come on, run it down.
5 again. For 5 in a row. Yes, sir! $25 more.
You know, sometimes that's all it takes is one lucky spare, and he seemed like a new bowler after he got that break on that 3-pin spare, and then he cut one over, and he's just making every kind of shot now.
Come on, Woody.
trying for 6 in a row now.
Well, you see some wood flying when he throws this ball.
The 6-7? No.
Either end, but down the center was no good.
Nine for Chris, 125, 378. Paul Berger needs lots of strikes.
Right.
He needs a strike right here or it's over.
Couldn't throw any better ball than that.
That does it. Chris Sargent is our 1995 Tournament of Champions winner. The spare for Paul Berger. By the way, Chris wrapped up the day with an even $100 in bonus money, but he will also take $1,500 as the overall winner here. And for Paul Berger, another superb match during the regular season to get here, but a further disappointment in the Tournament of Champions. And I know he must be feeling disappointed, but...
Well, you know, one fellow, one of my television debuts, I didn't do very well, lost the match. And one fellow said to me, a veteran bowler said, you know, before you can lose here, Dan, you have to get here. And that's what Paul has done year after year after year. So
Paul with an opportunity for bonus money here now, if he fires a strike on his last ball. And instead, it's just 4. The spread eagle, 117. And a total of 355 for Paul Berger. And he congratulates the champion, Chris Sargent, with a 378. We'll be back with the bonus ball contest and to tell you about the New Hampshire Men's All Events Championship match coming up on Saturday, right after this timeout. And welcome back to Park Place Lanes. Doug Brown here along with Dan Murphy. 7 years of the Tournament of Champions, and we've now had 7 different winners.
yeah, it's amazing. The 95 edition was second to none. It was enjoyable all the way through. These bowlers kind of struggled here, but the match was close, and hats off to Paul to make it 7 years in a row, and congratulations to Chris.
All right, I'll get a couple more comments from you, Dan, before we leave in a minute. But first of all, let's bring up our 2 bowlers. Our runner-up, Paul Berger, who once again has graced the Tournament of Champions with his presence 7 years in a row, and I know that isn't the check you wanted, and we have this conversation from time to time, it seems. But again, Chris bowled well, and he was able to get the marks together when he had to.
Chris bowled real well, especially in the last string, the last 5 boxes there. He made some great shots. My opportunity was the first 4 boxes, and I couldn't come up with the marks at that point, and then he said goodbye.
Well, we've talked about how difficult it is not only to get here, but then to go through the process to get to the Tournament of Champions and then to win the whole thing. And certainly, I guess you could testify to that. You did win it back in 1990, but still nobody's been able to win it twice. The field is usually very, very tough.
Well, we'll try another year, and we'll see what happens. It has been a little frustrating the last few, but Chris bowled well, and I'll take my money and run.
Thanks very much, Paul. Congratulations again for getting here. We appreciate it, as always. And now Chris Sargent will throw the final ball of the season here on Stars and Strikes as we go for a last winner in our bonus ball contest to end the year. $50 and a couple of brand new sets of bowling balls from Paramount Industries on the line. Well, it's a 3. Chris was saving that.
Let me look for a 3.
You could spend some time and look in there. You probably wouldn't find one. But you never know. Let's see. Oh, it's not a match, Chris. It's an 8. Francis Flanders just went way off the board and guessed 8. Francis from Milford, New Hampshire will be receiving a consolation prize. But no consolation prize for you. $1,500 as the season champion. Congratulations. Slide right in here. And, well, you had a lot of people rooting you on, and I think they helped you there. Somebody had to get a couple of marks there in the third game, and you were able to put some together.
Yeah, it helps when the crowd's really going, nice and loud. Really get you going good.
It was really there for either of you to take in the third game, and you were able to take advantage of the break. I think Dan mentioned this too. You took advantage of that break on the 3-pin spare that you made, and then a moment later you made a terrific shot on that cut shot on the 5-pin leave, and you just took off from there.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't open too many times against him, and the marks I missed, I thought for sure he was just going to come right on by me, so I had to take advantage of it. So.
Wait till Dad hears about this. He'll be proud.
Yeah, I guess he will.
Congratulations, Chris. Thanks a lot. One more round of applause for Chris Sargent. And that brings to an end our season here on Stars and Strikes. But a quick reminder that on Saturday at 12 noon, we will have our last actual new show of the season, as we will have the New Hampshire State Candlepin Championships, the men's all-events final. And, of course, this last few weeks over at the Londonderry Bowling Center, the first time for us, a chance to televise the state championship. But here on the Tournament of Champions, another terrific event as always, and Chris Sargent, certainly a worthy name to add to the list of titleists in this event.
Oh, absolutely. You can go right down the list from the first one, Bob Moran and Pat Pay and Paul and Chris. It goes on and on and on. And who knows, next year one of these people might repeat, or we'd have number 8.
In addition to this being the finals of the Tournament of Champions, it also, by luck of the draw, happens to be our 400th show here on Stars and Strikes. We've been going for more than 11 years now, and we want to thank all of our sponsors, all of you at home especially, for making this such a successful program over the years, and of course our terrific crew here at the Winds of New England for doing all the hard work to bring it all to you from Park Place Lanes in Windham. Don't forget the New Hampshire State Men's All-Events Championship Saturday at noon from the Londonderry Bowling Center. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everybody.